Boston's IP617.
Internet station.
IPOWER 617. WIPB-FM. Boston IPOWER 617 Radio.
Online. 24/7. 24/7.
Tono Thursday. It's the 617.
Power! 617.
Radio has never sounded so good. Keep this station locked on.
You're listening to
DeMarco Joe White, Unpretty Ricky, and Stefan Mason.
Time Tunnel Thursday.
Right here, right now.
The 617 Evening Show on IP617.
IPOWER617online.com.
Evening show. Black History Fact.
Celebrating the achievements, the accomplishments, the inventors, and much, much more.
Here in Boston, in Massachusetts, in New England, in the United States, and the world.
Celebrating Black history, where knowledge and information is power.
365 Black.
Writing about Black in America. Right here, right now. IPOWER 617.
All right, it's time for the American Black History Fact. Presented by McDonald's, deeply rooted within the African American communities. 365. Got a little known Black History Fact, and don't forget, Black history is also American history. And right now, this is making history. I want to talk about the late great Etta James. Etta James, born Jamesetta Hawkins on January 25th, 1938, was an American singer. Her style spanned a variety of music genres, including blues, rhythm and blues, rock and roll, soul, gospel, and jazz. Starting her career in the mid-50s, she gained fame with hits such as Dance With Me, At Last, a very famous popular song, Tell Mama, Tell Mama, and I'd Rather Go Blind. I'm very familiar with that music, one of my favorites, which she claims she wrote the lyrics. She faced a number of personal problems, including drug addiction, before making a musical resurgence in the late 1980s with the album The 7-Year Itch. James is regarded as having bridged the gap between rhythm and blues and rock and roll, and is the winner of 6 Grammys and 17 Blues Music Awards. She was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993, the Blues Hall of Fame in 2001, and the Grammy Hall of Fame in both 1999 and 2008. Rolling Stone ranked James number 22 on their list of the 100 greatest singers of all time and number 62 on the list of 100 greatest artists. James's musical style changed during the course of her career. When beginning her recording career in the mid-50s, James was marketed as an R&B and doo-wop singer. After singing with Chess Records in 1960, James broke through as a traditional pop-styled singer, covered jazz and pop music standards on her debut, At Last. James's voice depended, transcended, moving her musical style in her later years into the genres of soul and jazz. Etta James had once been considered one of the best overlooked blues and R&B musicians in American music history. It was not until the early 1990s when James began receiving major industry awards from the Grammys and the Blues Foundation that she began to receive wide recognition. In recent years, James was seen as bridging the gap between rhythm and blues and rock and roll. James has influenced a wide variety of American musicians, including Diana Ross, Christina Aguilera, Janis Joplin, Bonnie Raitt, Shamika Copeland, and Hayley Williams of Paramore, as well as British artists the Rolling Stones, Amy Winehouse, Paloma Faith, and Joss Stone and Adele. Is that the same Adele we know? Anyways, James was hospitalized in January 2010 to treat an infection by MRSA, a bacterium that is resistant to most antibiotic treatment. During her hospitalization, her son Danto revealed that James has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2008 and attributed her previous comments about Beyonce Knowles to drugs-induced dementia. She was diagnosed with leukemia in early 2000. The illness became terminal, and sadly, she died this year, January 20th, 2012, just 5 days before her 74th birthday at Riverside Community Hospital in Riverside, California. Her death came 3 days after Johnny Otis, the man who discovered her in the 1950s. The funeral, presided by the Reverend Al Sharpton, took place in Gardner, California, 8 days after her death. Singer Stevie Wonder and Christina Aguilera each gave a musical tribute. I don't even want to imagine what was running through Christina Aguilera's pantyhose. I'd rather not discuss that. Moving right along. In her personal life from 1989, James received over 30 awards and recognition from 8 different organizations, including the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Museum and National Academy of Recording Arts and Science, which recognizes the Grammys. In 1989, the newly formed Rhythm and Blues Foundation included James in their first Pioneer Awards for artists whose long life contribute have been instrumental in develop of rhythm and blues music. The following year, 1990, she received an NAACP Image Award, which was given for outstanding achievements and performances of people of color in the arts, an award she cherished as it was coming from my own people. Here is what the late great Etta James has received throughout the years. In 1993, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2001, inducted into the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. In 2003, inducted into the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce Hollywood Walk of Fame. Got her star at 7080 Hollywood Boulevard. And music industry, the BMI Lifetime Achievement Award and the 2006 Billboard R&B Founders Award. The Grammy Award are awarded annually by the National Academy of Recording Artists and Science. James has received 6 Grammy Awards. Her first was in 1994 when she was awarded Best Jazz Vocal Performance for the album Mystery Lady, which consisted of covers of Billie Holiday songs. 2 other albums have also won awards. Let's Roll Best Contemporary Blues Album in 2003 and Blues to the Bone Best Traditional Album in 2004. 2 of her early songs have been given Grammy Hall of Fame awards for equalitative of historical significance. At Last in 1999 and The Wallflower, Dance With Me Henry. In 2003, she was given the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And right now, hip-hop artist Flo Rida is using her sample, which I disagree with RAFAEL. Oh, sometimes I get good feeling. I'm not feeling that song, but I do feel Etta James for her accomplishment in music. And that is your American Black History Fact, presented by McDonald's. Deeply rooted within the African American community, 365. Up next, Love Won't Let Me Wait, followed by Health Watch, here on the 617. And after the break, Roxbury's own Stefan Mason is coming up. Hang on.
The American Black History Fact.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Only on Boston Nation's 4-hour evening show. IPOWER 617.
IP617.
How you gonna know where I'm at if you ain't been where I've been? Understand where I'm coming from?
You're listening to the 617 Evening Show on IP617.